So the instructions we have is find the value of x. Answer should be in the simplest radical form, no decimals. If you need a reminder of how to do this, then you should be looking at lesson 3.1, which was simplifying radicals. Okay, so question number 1. And this is the information we're given. So based on this, we're going to be able to use the Pythagorean theorem because we have a right angle and we have 2 of the 3 sides. So we're going to use the formula or the theorem here to solve. Okay? So that theorem again is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now it doesn't matter which one is a or b. Okay, it does not always have to be that a is the up and down leg and b is the horizontal leg. It doesn't matter. As long as you are adding and squaring, you're fine. The most important part is that c is your hypotenuse. Okay, so let's replace our values. So I'm going to go ahead and say a is 7 squared plus b squared of 9 squared equals, and I'm going to replace it with x squared. Okay, this is where it helps to remember our perfect numbers. So 7 squared is 49 plus 9 squared, which is 81, and x squared is just simply x squared. Okay. And then we go about adding those together. So 49 plus 81 is 130, which equals x squared. Now, how are we going to solve for x if it's x squared? So in order to solve for x by itself, we have to take what we talked about the other day as the square root, okay? So remember, square root is something times itself twice. So square root of that number. When you take the square root of x squared, squaring and square rooting cancels and you're left with just x. And then you want to see, does 130 simplify within the radical? So again, based on our skills from lesson 3.1, we want to say, can 130 simplify with any of our perfect numbers? So checking that, we would check 130. Is it divisible by, and we check all our numbers. Is it divisible by 121? Is it divisible by 100, 81, 64? All these numbers. So we want to keep trying and practicing to see if it is divisible by anything. Okay. So you may use your sheet to help you remember your perfect numbers, but obviously it's not going to work for 121, 100. Those aren't going to make any sense. Okay, but we could jump down to 64. It's the first one that possibly could work. Then go down to 49. Doesn't work still. So I'm going to keep trying. Oh, that was close. Okay, so it looks like nothing simplifies. So therefore, I would just leave it as it is. So x equals the square root of 130. Okay, and that's how we solve number 1. So let's try number 2. Same instructions. I'm not going to write it again on the back. Now this triangle is a bit different. It's upside down, and our x is in a different location. Our x is alongside a leg. So when we set up our problem, again, let's remind ourselves of our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. My legs are always a and b. So if I have it like this, a So x squared plus b squared, which is 8 squared, equals, and remember, 7, the hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle, so equals 17 squared. Okay, go ahead and use your calculator or your perfect list to remind yourselves of what those numbers would be. So we have x squared plus 64 equals 289. Now, in order to solve for x squared in this scenario, I would have to subtract the 64, and I get x squared equals 225. And again, because we have x squared, we want to take the square root of both sides. And the square root of 225, if we look at our list, actually is a perfect number. So square root of 225 is 15, which comes out to a nice, pretty number. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and try number 3. Okay, go ahead and try number 3.